Welcome to the Jello Jiggling podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ward, and the Lakers have now lost 2 in a row. One was a pretty predictable one against Milwaukee, where literally no one played, and Bronny James was like the star of the show. You can kind of throw that out because the Lakers punted, for the lack of a better word. They just said, hey, look, fine. We're fine with losing this one. We're going to get our guys back for Saturday, and then we start a 4-game road trip. So they went into yesterday's game against Chicago. LeBron James gets cleared for the first time in 2 weeks, and then or I think it was 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. It's been a while, put it that way. And same with Rui. Rui Hachimura got cleared as well, and he's been out for some time as well. So they basically were full strength, and every guy that sat out against Milwaukee played in this game. Like Luka, Gabe Vincent, Reeves, Vando, DFS, all those guys were in. So they were full strength essentially for the first time in weeks, right? So I thought it could be a trap game, but I wasn't convinced that was going to be the case because I thought, Chicago's incentive for winning is not great right now. I still think that they're in the play-in hunt or something. They still have a chance to make the postseason, but it just was one of those things where you're just like, okay, well, the Lakers are far better than this team. They should beat them. And it's one of those situations that I keep harping on, like, hey, they need to win the games they're supposed to win, right? If you lose against some of the best teams in the league, okay, fine. It's a formidable opponent. You're losing. Fine. That's cool. Learn from it. But against teams that are garbage and are probably looking to the draft more than they are looking to the playoffs, you should crush them. And it should be a tune-up game, and it should be something to show the rest of the league just how good you are. And yesterday couldn't have gone worse, really. I was pretty shocked how bad it went. I think when you get guys back who play a significant role, it does change things. It does change the way you play, and they're going to be rusty, and they clearly were. Both Rui and LeBron were rusty. I would say kind of more LeBron than Rui, but I think it's just because the ball's in his hands more, and he's obviously he's a superstar, and he's the second guy. Or, well, that's the first time I've said that. Second guy to Luka. Okay. But he was turning the ball over like crazy. 5 turnovers. He had one really bad one on an inbounds play where he looked like he was 40 years old. Something you would see at the park or at the gym or something. But I mean, it's to be expected. There's no way you can replicate those reps. So when they do come back, it's not going to be smooth sailing at all, especially for a guy at his age who's done something nobody else has ever done in terms of longevity like this. And all the miles he's got. So I wasn't too shocked about that. I mean, and then there's Luka, who just went insane in the first quarter, 17 points, and then 29 points in the first half. He hit 7 threes, which is 2 off his career high, and he got that career high when he hit his career high point total, 73 against Atlanta. And he showed everybody in the league, hey, look, Kobe's 81 might not be safe. This guy he has the potential to do it, right? I mean, he came within single digits of reaching that total. But he was just, he was hitting every shot, but he was turning over the ball like crazy too. He had 7 turnovers. And he even admitted after the game, like, hey, look, we can't do that. I mean, he said, like, he basically took the blame for that part of the game. But the real concern is the defense. The defense was it was non-existent. It wasn't just terrible. It just wasn't there. There was no energy. There was no effort. Even guys that are really good defensively struggled all night. Like DFS, I think what did he end up with? 5 fouls? He almost fouled out. He's one of the best defenders. Good one didn't really make an impact on the game. It just was bad. There was just a different kind of feel and vibe to the game. It was it felt very like they didn't take this game seriously, and they're thinking more of the 6-hour flight they were about to hop on, which I heard multiple guys say in the post game. So you could tell that was on their minds. They're kind of like, okay, well, hey, we could probably beat these guys without trying all that hard, but And JJ was pissed, but not as pissed as I thought JJ would be. And JJ admitted, he said he thought that was the worst defensive performance that they've had all season, or it's in the conversation. And if you look at the 146 points that the Chicago Bulls put up, Chicago Bulls, okay, they just got torched by Kobe White and Josh Giddey. Kobe White really stood out to me in this game. That guy is really good. I was really surprised. His speed is incredible. Um, he was just all over the place. And Giddey almost had a quadruple double. I think he was 2 steals shy of a quadruple double, which is insane. But those two could just do whatever they wanted. But the biggest difference was the pace that they played at. They were just running. They were running. Like I haven't seen a team like or good do this to the Lakers this season. I mean, Miami Heat did it, but in a different way. But the way that they just got out and ran, and just the Lakers just simply couldn't keep up with them, was telling. And I think it might have, in a way, exposed this team. It gave kind of a blueprint for the rest of the teams they're going to face for the rest of the way. I mean, obviously, there's things that they're going to change. LeBron's going to get back up to speed. So is Rui. I'm a little bit concerned about Rui from what he said in the post game. I mean, he's saying that his knee's nowhere near 100%. And the only way he's going to get to that is with rest. He's been out for a while. I think like 3 weeks. So his knee injury is probably worse than what we've been told. And he's already listed as questionable for tomorrow's game in Orlando, which is obviously a concern. I don't think he'll play if he's already listed as questionable. LeBron is probable, which is just a BS kind of designation for him and all the stars in the league. Now, whenever you see a stars league or in the league is designated as probable, it's almost certain that they're going to play. It's just kind of a joke. I mean, even us, the guys at the RotoWire, we know we're like, oh, here we go. You know, we just got to wait till the last second to when they get them cleared, which sucks. But whatever. So I mean, it's a good thing because LeBron will be all right, unless he gets on that plane and the groin tightens up or feels sore or something unexpected. But I don't anticipate that happening. When I think we probably would have heard about it already before the designation of being probable, which was early today. So yeah, I do think that the way that the Bulls played against them, and they were just blowing by everybody, and just kept up that pace. It was pretty remarkable to see them to do that, because they didn't take the foot off the gas pedal the whole game, and they crushed them. They crushed the Lakers. I mean, it was an embarrassing loss. 146 is the highest total that the Lakers have given up this season. And they've had some blowouts. I think 134 was the number just below that, and I think they gave up 3 times. Miami, Atlanta, and there was another team. It might have been Orlando. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it was pretty telling, and I was just like, dude, if there's other teams looking around or around the league looking at a way to take these guys out, Chicago just gave them exactly what they need. And as I said, things can change, like that same, they're going to face Chicago, the third game of this road trip, I think the 27th. So 4 days from now. So we'll see if they do that again. And if it works, and if it does work again, then there's time to panic a little bit. I wouldn't freak out at the moment, because it is everybody getting back and being rusty and just, you're looking towards the road trip rather than the current game that they were playing. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Luka and LeBron turned the ball over 12 times. 5 for LeBron and 7 for Luka. That's a concern. They've been kind of doing that a lot. LeBron's turnovers are up. You could tell from watching Luka for 16, 17 games now. He does tend to turn the ball over, like, I'd say about 4 or 5 times a game. It's pretty common, but the ball's in his hands damn near every second of the game. So there's a give and take there. I think what he provides offensively and the way he gets everybody involved is you live with that. He just gives you way more than that. that being a big problem. And plus, I think he's averaging like 1.9 steals per game. He's actually getting pretty handsy on defense. So that's obviously good. And that goes back to what I saw in Denver when he was messing with JJ, talking about his 4 steals or whatever, and whether or not he talked about it in the press conference. So he's proud of that. So he's making an effort. But I mean, there are times where you see Luka and he's fairly checked out on defense, but you could say the same for LeBron too. So that is the biggest concern I had once this trade went down is the defense can take a major hit, right? And then they're just not going to be able to keep up with really good teams. I mean, I think it'll be pretty telling if OKC plays their guys in I think it's next week or the week after. They play a back-to-back, but not back-to-back days, like just a back-to-back. I think it's both in LA or both. I gotta look here. Let me look at the schedule here. I just don't look at it. Oh no, it's in OKC. Okay, so April 6th and April 8th. So they're just staying in Oklahoma City for a few days. It's a Sunday and a Tuesday. That'll be a telling game. There's a Houston game. That'll be a telling game. Outside of that, well, there's a few. I mean, this road trip's not going to be easy, I don't think. Orlando's formidable, right? They're pretty banged up. They're not the team that everybody expected them to be, but I think that's just mostly due to injuries. Indiana's pretty decent. I wouldn't call them a great team, but I think they can beat the Lakers. They have I mean, if the Bulls can beat them, anybody can beat them with that kind of effort. And then they play Chicago on Thursday, and then in Memphis on Saturday. And who knows if Jaw's playing? I feel like that guy is just in and out every day. Excuse me. And then Houston, Golden State, 2 tough games. I don't know what Steph's status is. I think he's a little banged up, and they're probably going to slow roll him for the rest of the season, just because why exhaust him? And if he's got a shaky injury, I'm not quite sure what his injury is, but then there's no point in playing him, especially if you got a decent seed that you might be able to lock up. New Orleans, whatever, but it could be a trap game. OKC, Dallas, Houston, and then finish with Portland on the 13th of April. So this is really coming down the wire here. And the fact that the standings are so close in the West, I mean, the Lakers could end up in the play-in if they're not careful. I think even JJ mentioned that in the post-game press conference yesterday, and Luka did as well too. So it's in the back of their minds. And you could tell from the way that they were talking, even Rui talking, standings and seedings were coming up. Most of the times they play it off like they're not paying attention, but they're paying attention. They're paying attention because it's so close. They're not like OKC where they can just kind of just rest their guys for the rest of the way until the playoffs start. No, they got to be careful. The last thing they want to happen is face OKC in the first round, or even Houston the way they're playing right now. I think they're like one of the hottest teams in the league at the moment. But yeah, it's a little concerning. You don't want to get exposed before the playoffs and give, your opponents, hey, this is how to beat us. You just gotta be fast, gotta play with a different kind of pace. And obviously the Lakers like to play at a certain pace, especially with Luka, who makes teams play at his pace. Right. And that's what he's so damn good at. But clearly last night, even with him going nuts, it didn't matter. I think he ended up with 8 threes. But in the second half, it was just different. It was just different. I mean, and then I think most of the guys didn't play in the fourth because JJ was just like, hey, this is a lost cause. Somebody's going to get hurt, and that's the last thing we want to happen. So defense, absolutely atrocious. The effort and energy, which is something that the players control, needs to change if they want to get back on track and do that quickly. But the road trip will be telling, just as this game was. I mean, I think I'd be more concerned about what happened last night than I was during that the losing streak before this. It just seemed like Chicago or Billy Donovan had figured them out. Like, okay, this is how we're going to beat them. We're just going to exhaust them. And it worked. And it worked pretty pretty convincingly. I was quite surprised. I hope that's not going to be the case moving forward, but I just don't know. I just don't know with this team because they're still figuring each other out. I think we forget sometimes when you see these epic Luka performances and then the team, kind of coming along, all guys hitting shots like Gabe Vincent, Goodwin, DFS, Reeves doing his thing. You forget that they haven't really played together that long. I mean, even DFS, they only just got DFS, last month. So it's not like he's been around for long. Same for Goodwin. Uh, Obviously, Luka. Um, it's just there is a potential for things to kind of fall apart in the last stretch here, and I don't think that's going to happen, but it's lingering. You know what I mean? Because I think when LeBron got back on the floor was a little different. I don't think they knew how to play together. I think there was a lot when it was when they had all that time with Luka. They adjusted to Luka and they adjusted to him perfectly. Right, the spacing was incredible. The effort was there on the defensive end. It was just a different game. Last night was a different game. The spacing was awful. And I mean, Chicago was playing great defense. They were getting in everybody's face and not giving up anything easy outside. I mean, they couldn't stop Luka. I think that's just kind of the way it goes with that guy. That guy's so gifted offensively that you just hope you can limit what he does, and probably hope that he does that kind of thing and he doesn't get everybody else going, because that's what he's done recently. Those guys are hitting these wide open shots and they're getting used to these wide open shots. And I can't remember one that was wide open last night. I don't know if there was one. It was just a different kind of game. I mean, you watch that game and then you watch, like, say when they beat Denver, um, just different, just different. It just, I just they can't play that way. They play like they played last night. They're gonna get beat in the first round. I mean, it was obviously the the Achilles heel of this team, at least for this game. I mean, I'm hoping JJ is just hammering in their heads right now. Hey, look, you guys got to defend. You can't let guys get out on the break like that. I mean, it was crazy to see Chicago that motivated to really make. I don't. I mean, I don't know what a team like Chicago's thinking at the moment, but then again, from what there was the broadcasters saying that Chicago's been different since they traded Levine, right? And it's probably because that distraction's completely gone now, because it's been a distraction for the last 3 years, maybe even longer than that. Um, that they got something going, and then they're clearly, like, making the best of Kobe White and Giddy. Those two were just, and then what's his name? The rookie Mattis. I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm not going to butcher it. He had a career night. Like, he was just torching them. The guy had one move that was pretty amazing on Luka. He had this. He got Luka with this around the back dribble to get baseline, and then he does this reverse dunk, and I'm like, holy crap, that guy's a dude. Like, he's a baller. You could tell he's got something special. I don't. I mean, I don't think he's rookie of the year or anything like that. He might be. I don't know. I don't even know what those standings are at the moment, or like the odds. But it's a shame that Connect has kind of taken a dip. He rarely even saw the floor. He didn't see the floor till garbage time last night, which was kind of crazy. I was like, that's weird. I don't know if that's because Rui came back and Rui kind of took his minutes or what, but I thought Connect was kind of coming along again, like he becoming a guy again, becoming somebody that people get scared of, opponents get scared of. Like, we're not giving this guy an open shot. We're paying attention to him when he has the basketball. You know what I mean? Like, it's that was concerning too, but whatever. I mean, it was a throwaway game. It's definitely something you keep in your back of your mind. Like, hey, look, if other teams look at this and then they just start to replicate the same formula to beat the Lakers, then they're in trouble. That's a big trouble. See what Orlando does tomorrow. I don't anticipate it being a problem they can't fix, but you just never know. I mean, this season is probably the craziest season I've ever covered. Just in terms of the highs and lows and just the constant changes and the injuries. It's just it's like the perfect mix of madness. And I just never seen anything like it, and I've seen a lot. Right, I've seen a lot of craziness since 2011. So I don't know. I feel like I say this all the time. Like when it's going great, these guys are just they look not unbeatable, but pretty damn good. Like they could beat anybody in the league, right? But when they do this, they look like they can be beaten by anybody in the league. So it's like this drastic, highs and lows, it's polar opposites. I just hope it's not. It doesn't become a trend, and then they can figure it out. And I mean, the team's good enough to do that, right? And I think JJ's smart enough to figure out how to fix it. But we'll see. We'll see. Orlando should be interesting. Let me see what Orlando's got going on right now in terms of their standing and all that. I know they have just had no luck with injuries this season. I kind of feel for them because I actually liked watching them play because they play defense and they're they're talented offensively with Paolo leading the way and Wagner. Let's see where you're at. Orlando, yeah, they're not doing great. They're in the 8th seed, 33 and 38. That's worse than I thought. 4 and 6 in the last 10. They're basically where Chicago is. Ironically enough, Chicago's right below them. Then we got Indiana, who's won 4 straight. Not ideal. 41 and 29, and they're in the 4th seed, so they're kind of clicking. That ain't great. Memphis, I think I just watched Memphis play. I think it was the Clippers, and they didn't look great. Where you at, Memphis? Oh yeah. Okay, so they've lost 3 in a row. 5 out of the last 10. 43 and 28, and they're right below the Lakers now. God, West is so crazy, man. The way this just so Lakers are in the 4th seed, 43 and 27. Denver's right above them, and then you got Houston and OKC. Nobody's touching OKC because they got a 12-game lead, 12 and a half game lead on the Rockets. So the Rockets will be that game though, like because they are cooking. They won 9 in a row. They might be the hottest team in the league right now. Let's see. Yep, they are, and by a wide margin. I think the closest is Boston with 5 in a row. And OKC's got 5 in a row, and they're resting all their guys. That's crazy. God, those guys are scary. Clippers have won 5 in a row. They're about to jump out of the play-in if they can take advantage of Golden State. It's just so close. I mean, there's what handful of games left. Was it 12 games left? And everything is so damn close. I mean, from now until April 13th, this thing could totally shift, right? Obviously, no, like I said, OKC's not getting touched. Houston looks like they're not getting touched. But Denver, LA, Memphis, Golden State, Clippers, Minnesota, that could all change. And then we got Sac and Phoenix in the plan with Dallas right there on the cusp. And it looks like AD is coming back. I think he's listed as doubtful today, which I thought was cool. I think the team is urging him to sit and just kind of call it a season, which can't really blame them for. They don't want him to get hurt, get hurt more. And then the rest of the guys too. I mean, that team is probably more banged up than any team I think I've ever seen before. Pretty wild. It's Portland below them, but I think, they're still kind of in the mix. San Antonio, and then New Orleans and Utah have already been eliminated. That's crazy. And then in the East, the Wizards have already been eliminated. It look like they're going to get no. So it look like they're going to get the first pick. They got 15 wins right now, and Utah has 16. So it could be a 2-team race for flag or capture the flag or whatever. People have been coming to slogans people have been coming up with, but yeah, so it's It's weird because every day you could see these teams resting guys. Denver's been resting Jokic. I don't think he's played for like 3 straight games. I think he's got an ankle thing going on, but I think it could just be BS. It could just they're simply just resting him. Um, Memphis obviously got Ja in and out all the time. Scottie Pippen's been playing a lot. Houston, I think, is relatively healthy. OKC's been resting guys like, I mean, Dort, Shea, Jalen Williams, and Chet have all kind of like in and out, in and out. Every other, it's almost like they're trading places. So and it doesn't matter because they've won 5 in a row and 9 out of the last 10. That's how good that team is. They are scary good. And then Golden State, obviously, Steph is the big question mark there. And I think they got Kuminga back now too, so that's kind of a plus for them. But and I think Clippers too. They're healthy finally, so I think they're finally like hitting their stride. They won 5 in a row. Minnesota, I don't really know, but they're 10 games above 500. They won 8 out of the last 10, so yeah, they're kind of cooking too. So yeah, this is going to get interesting in the final stretch here. I don't know where this is going to end up. But the Lakers can't mess around. And JJ made a point of saying that last night too. Like, they can't mess around. You got to get back on track immediately because this could really get out of control if they don't, because they've lost 6 out of the last 10 now. So so tomorrow we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's a good start to the road trip and they can get some momentum back. Hopefully LeBron looks a little bit better. Rui looks a little bit better. I bet Rui will rest this game. I would put money on it, actually. I'm sure he'll be downgraded to doubtful in the morning and then officially out, or vice versa. He could be, ruled out pretty quick. And hopefully no other guys pop up on the injury report. That would suck. I'm just so tired of that. I think we're all so tired of that. But until next time, folks, see ya.